The challenge of taken for granted assumptions is that they're taken for granted. And so they're invisible to our consciousness. We don't know what we don't know. And I don't know that I'm really equipped to say what our taken for granted assumptions are in the field. And I'll be humble about that. I think to the extent that there is something that I would want to nudge the field, it's that I think all scholars who are excited about and taken with a particular phenomenon or idea, we tend to assume that everyone finds it both interesting and understandable and useful. And I would caution us against making that assumption, because I think for other scholars of organizations and social life, the notion of paradox is not widespread in its understanding or use or perceived utility. And among practitioners, it's even less so. So I don't know if it's taking a for granted assumption, but I would caution us not to assume that we can just do scholarship. I think it's incumbent on us to do translation and to really articulate paradox ideas in a way that they can be understood by broader scholarly and practitioner communities in a way that is useful. And I think part of that is really being clear about what are the puzzles that paradox can help to explain, which is the currency of scholarship, and what are the problems that paradox can help solve, which is the currency of practitioners. And for me, I think the place to look in terms of problems, which, I'm a practical person, I think that's my orientation. The place to look for in terms of problems is, where do we see breakdowns in conversation? Where do we see people not being able to effectively move forward with other people, or groups not able to effectively move forward with other groups, like the political polarization in the United States, or debates within companies about whether to advance sustainability, or areas like that where there are persistent conflicts. Paradox can help us see what are some of the underlying fundamental persistent contradictions that might exist there, and where are there places where people actually might have hidden ambivalence that we can surface by helping them see the contradictory nature of their own experience, and therefore be able to build bridges, right? Helping liberals understand their inner conservatives and vice versa. I think that's a very constructive way to look for problems and be able to really articulate and make the case for the paradox perspective. And I think if we do that, then we'll be able to counter, what might be an assumption that paradox is interesting and useful to everybody.